A sound wakes you. You don't know what it was. You're not in bed. You're sitting up at the desk, and the laptop is hot against your forearms, and the room is dark, except for the screen. 34 tabs open. You don't remember opening most of them. The clock says 4:11 a.m. The shape at the end of the desk isn't a stack of books. It's planners. 11 of them. Leather ones, cloth ones, one with a rose gold spiral you paid $41 for. Every single one has a beautiful first week. Every single one goes blank around day 9. They've been sitting there a while. You can tell by the dust on the top one. And on the screen in front of you, in an open cart, is the 12th. But first, we have to see how you got here.
You are 31 years old, and you have been failing the same test since you were 7. You don't remember most of 2nd grade. You remember one sentence, blue ink, bottom of a report card, read out loud by your mother at the kitchen table in a voice that was trying to be gentle. Bright just doesn't apply himself. You didn't know what it meant. You knew it was about you. You knew from the way her voice went careful that it was the kind of thing you were supposed to fix. So you decided to fix it. You were 7. You have been fixing it for 24 years. School works, sort of, because school attaches a deadline to everything, and a deadline is the only executive function you own. You don't study for the test. You study the night before the test, at 11 at night, in a burst of adrenaline so total that your body stops being a body and becomes a machine. You get a B, sometimes an A. Nobody asks how.
So nobody finds out that you cannot start anything unless you are afraid of it. You think this is normal. You think everyone runs on fear. You think the kids who finish early are just better at pretending. You're 23 when you buy your first real system. Hardcover, ribbon bookmark, 2-page spread for every week. The man who sold it to you filmed a video in a clean apartment with morning light coming through the window. And here's the thing nobody tells you. It works. Day 1, you write everything down. Day 2, you wake up early. Day 3, you color code. Day 4, you feel a thing in your chest you'd call hope if you were the kind of person who used that word. Day 5, 6, 7, you are him. You are the man in the clean apartment. Day 9, you don't open it. Day 10, you notice you didn't open it, and you decide you'll start again Monday. Monday, the planner is under a hoodie. You don't throw it out. You'll keep all of them.
Here's what's actually happening. You won't learn it for another 8 years. Your brain doesn't run on importance. It runs on novelty, urgency, interest, challenge. A new system is novel. Novelty spikes dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical your brain uses to decide whether a task is worth starting, not whether it matters, whether it's worth starting. So the system doesn't work because the system is good. The system works because it's new, and nothing stays new for 9 days. Every planner on that desk worked. All of them. They worked for exactly as long as they were interesting, and then the drug wore off, and you call that a personal failure. You balked 11.
You get a job. You're good at it, frighteningly good, in bursts. There's a Thursday in March where you sit down at 10 a.m. and stand up at midnight, 14 hours. You don't eat. You go to the bathroom twice. You build a thing 3 people said would take a month, and it is better than what they asked for. Your manager calls it the best work anyone's done that quarter, and you go home and you can't open your mail. Not email, the physical stack by the door. There's an envelope from your insurance company that has been there 19 days, and every time you walk past it, your chest tightens, and you look away, and you tell yourself tonight. It would take 4 minutes. You built a 14-hour system in one sitting, and you cannot open a 4-minute envelope, and there is no explanation for that. None, except one. You're lazy. It's the only word that fits. You've run the math 100 times, and it's the only answer that survives. And now you have evidence.
Thursday proved you're capable. Thursday is the worst thing that ever happened to you because Thursday took away your last excuse. They promote you, more responsibility, which means more admin, expense reports, status updates, a calendar you have to maintain, 11 small recurring tasks that each take 6 minutes and none of which you can start. You are being rewarded with the exact thing you cannot do. You started to do app, then a second one, because the first wasn't the right one, then a third. $312 on productivity software in 14 months, 9 days each. You wake at 4 a.m. with your heart going. You lie there running the list. You can't sleep, so you scroll. You go to bed at 2 a.m. every night, because those 2 hours are the only 2 hours nobody is asking you for anything, and you would rather be exhausted than give them up. She asks you to call the landlord. That's it. That's the whole thing.
She asks on a Tuesday, and you say yes, and you mean it completely, all the way down. There's no version of you that intends not to do this. you don't do it. Wednesday, you don't do it. Thursday, the weight of not having done it makes it harder to do because now the 4-minute call has a 9-foot wall of shame in front of it. And every day you don't do it, the wall gets a foot taller. Sunday, she calls the landlord herself. She doesn't say anything about it. That's worse because you can hear what she isn't saying. And what she isn't saying is that she stopped counting on your yes. Your yes used to be worth something. Now it's a sound you make. It was never about the landlord. It's that you are a person whose word does not survive contact with a Tuesday. Friday, 4:40, a Slack message, 2 words. Can we talk? Your hands go cold. Your stomach drops through the floor.
For 90 minutes, you are certain, not worried, certain that you're being fired, that everyone finally noticed, that the thing you've been hiding since you were 7 has been visible the whole time. It's about a schedule change. 90 minutes of your life, and you can't explain it to anyone because she sent a normal message and I nearly threw up is not a sentence a functioning adult says out loud.
You get diagnosed on a Wednesday afternoon in a beige room with a plant that isn't real. The doctor says the word. The word is not lazy. And something in you comes apart because there's a name, because it isn't a character flaw. It's a wiring. The part of the brain that sequences, prioritizes, holds a plan in working memory long enough to execute it. The conductor at the front of the orchestra. That part is under-resourced. It always was. Since you were 7, since the blue ink. You cry in the car. Not sad, something else. You start medication. For 2 weeks, it is the golden age. You open the mail, you call the landlord, you sit down at a task you don't care about, and you just start it. No fear, no wall, and you understand for the first time in your life that this is what other people have been doing every day, casually, for free. 2 weeks. Then the floor drops. Because the medication turns the signal up. It doesn't build the house. It doesn't do the task.
It doesn't tell you which thing to start. And on Thursday of week 3, you take it and spend 6 focused, alert, chemically optimized hours reorganizing your bookshelf. The pills are not a personality. They're a volume knob on a radio you still have to tune. And you know exactly what you do next. You open a browser and you start looking for a system. She asks you at the kitchen table. She isn't angry. Angry would be easier. Are you going to be like this forever? You have about 10 seconds. And you know what buys you tonight. You've done it 100 times. The promise, the new plan, this time it's different. You can feel the shape of the sentence in your mouth already because you've been saying it since you were 7 and she wants to believe it and it would work and you'd both go to bed and it would cost nothing until the next Tuesday. You look at her. I don't know. That's what you say.
And it lands wrong, and it lands hard, and something dies at that table. Not her, she doesn't leave. The other one, the one you were both waiting for. The version of you who was going to show up any day now, once you found the right app. The guy in the clean apartment with the morning light. You just killed him in front of her. He'd been eating at this table for 8 years. What actually helps is nothing you'd have bought. It's her sitting in the room while you open the mail, not encouraging you, just her body and a chair 4 feet away. And for reasons nobody can fully explain, the wall in front of the envelope becomes a curb. It's deadlines you didn't set, someone else holding the calendar, a 9 a.m. phone call from a friend who also has this, who doesn't ask how it's going, who just says, okay, start, and stays on the line while you both work in silence. None of it is a system. All of it is other people.
And every single one of them costs you the one thing you were never going to give up, the belief that you should be able to do this alone. It's 4:11 a.m. and you're at the desk again. 11 planners. 12 now. The 12th came Tuesday, and you know exactly how this goes. Day 1, the hope, the color coding, the man in the clean apartment. You don't open it. You close the laptop and go back to bed. And that's the whole victory. That's it. That's the entire thing. You'll have to do it again tomorrow and the day after. Every time a friend says, have you tried? Every time an ad finds you at 2 a.m. because the pull doesn't go away. It was never a habit. It was a hunger. And the hunger doesn't care that you've been fed 11 times. You didn't fail 11 systems. 11 systems were built for a brain that never needed one.